Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening song, number 298 in your gray hymnal.
Welcome, friends. I'm so glad you are here. I've been waiting to see you and to greet you. You, every one of you. I'm so glad that you're here. This is the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem, and we welcome everyone, no matter who you are, where you are from, what you look like, your family, or your story, you are welcome here. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you will come back again and again. If you've been here many, many times, welcome again. I hope you will return often. And if you're watching this from online, in our online universe, welcome. I hope you will watch us again and again, and maybe sometime, if you're able, you'll stop by in person. This place, this sacred space, is here for you and for me and for anyone, even those we disagree with. I am so glad that you are here. And together, we create community. And this community is created with love, care, understanding, with peace and everlasting hope. Please join me as we speak our commitment to this community and to each other. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
Winter blooms in autumn light. Afternoons one summer white. Fading blue through the night. Roses linger with a sigh. With the evening in their eyes, every bloom bids goodbye. Nothing comes or goes without a shadow. Somewhere in your soul you hold a candle. Let your sorrow go, it's half the battle. Down the hole you go to where you are. Down the hole you go to where you are. There are rooms you leave behind, other wounds from other times, other songs fill your mind. Rabbits lead you for a while. Picture books, a Cheshire smile. Summer drifts like a child. Nothing comes or goes without a shadow. Somewhere in the soul you hold a candle. Let your sorrow go, it's half the battle. Down the hole you go to where you are. Down the hole you go to where you are. Down the hole you go to where you are. Down the hole you go, and there you are.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
We light our chalices this morning, grateful for the glow that brings us together, for the smoke wafting in the air and flying our wishes, for the flame that offers warmth and light, for the melting wax and burning oil that flows from the base to the wick, and for the wick that connects all parts, working as one enlightened spirit. Here we light 3 chalices, one for this congregation and the community we create of truth and compassion. One for the past and our history with our sister church in Šimanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. And we light a lantern for the children, the youth, and all those who are young at heart as they explore and learn together here and everywhere around the world. The future lies with them. Now, Advent is defined as the beginning of an event happening, an invention being made, or a person arriving. In many Christian traditions, Advent marks the anticipation of the great event of the birth of the Christ child. Here we respect that tradition with an Advent wreath to symbolize the weeks leading to the religious Christmas day, and we use the colors and messages that have been attributed to this observation. Each of the candles represents a different focus, and the colors are also specific to these events. Over the course of the Advent season, the 4 candles on the wreath will be lit in succession, each symbolizing hope, peace, joy, and love, royalty in purple or blue, and the joy of new life in the pink candle, as well as the repentance and penance symbolized in that purple and blue. The white candle in the center represents the light that is returned to the world with the birth of the Christ child, and it is lit on the eve of Christmas or on Christmas Day. Now, a wreath represents the never-ending cycle of life and has been used by many different spiritual practices since well before Christianity. It is the wheel of the year ever turning with no beginning and no end. Here, those 2 schools of thought are beautifully combined in a single gesture of hope, peace, joy, and love after the darkness descends and the light begins again. Today we light the first candle in the wreath, a purple candle that represents hope, because even in the darkness there is hope. As long as we have hope, we have life. Let's join together and sing these flames to life. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Can I please have everyone young and young at heart up front today? Good morning, you guys. Do you know what today is? It's December 1st. Oh my goodness. Which makes it a very fun month. What happens this month?
Christmas.
Oh my gosh, are you guys excited? Yeah.
Christmas.
Yes, I bet you every single one of you.
Christmas is fun.
I know, I bet every single one of you would probably say, hey, I'm really excited for this month, am I right? Yeah, so right now, today, we're gonna talk about this thing called presents. And so in December, society likes to say, hey, guess what? We get to go shopping, and we get to go to all these parties, and we get to have all these performances, and they're all really fun and really exciting. And we sometimes forget to think about what we're doing right now, today. I have a story for you, and it's about a little boy. I'm going to kneel down here so that I can do this better for you guys. Okay. Peter was a young boy who could never live in the moment. When he was in school, he dreamed of being outside playing. When he was outside playing, he dreamed of his summer vacation. Peter constantly daydreamed, never taking the time to savor the special moments that filled his days. One morning, Peter was out walking in a forest near his home. Feeling tired, he decided to rest on a patch of grass and eventually dozed off. After a few minutes of deep sleep, he heard someone calling his name. "Peter, Peter," came the shrill voice from above. As he slowly opened his eyes, he was startled to see a striking woman standing above him. She must have been over 100 years old, and her snow-white hair dangled well below her shoulders like a matted blanket of wool. In this woman's wrinkled hand was a magical little ball with a hole in the center, and out of the hole a long golden thread dangled. "Peter," she said, "this is the thread of your life. If you pull the thread just a little bit, an hour will pass in seconds. If you pull a little harder, whole days will pass in minutes. And if you pull with all your might, months, even years, will pass by in days." Peter was very excited by this new discovery. "I'd like to have it if I may," he asked. The elderly woman quickly reached down and gave the ball with the magic thread to the young boy. The next day, Peter was sitting in the classroom feeling restless and bored. Suddenly, he remembered his new toy. As he pulled a little bit of the golden thread, he quickly found himself playing in his garden. Realizing the power of the magic thread, Peter soon grew tired of being a schoolboy and longed to be a teenager, with all of the excitement that phase of life would bring. So again, he held the ball and pulled hard on the golden thread. Suddenly, he was a teenager with a wonderful girlfriend named Elise, but Peter still wasn't content. Instead, he dreamed of what adulthood might offer him. So again, he pulled hard on the thread, and many years flew by in an instant. Now he found that he was transformed into a middle-aged adult. Elise was now his wife, and Peter was surrounded by a house full of kids. But Peter noticed something else. His once jet black hair had started to turn gray, and his once youthful mother, whom he loved so dearly, had grown old and frail. Yet all of these new circumstances soon bored Peter, and he found himself dreaming and wondering about what the next stage of life might bring. So once again, he pulled the magic thread and waited for the changes to appear. Peter now found that he was a 90-year-old man. With his thick, dark hair had turned white as snow, and his once young wife, Elise, had grown old and had passed away a few years earlier. His wonderful children had grown up and left home to lead their own lives. For the first time in his entire life, Peter realized that he had not taken the time to embrace the wonders of each stage of living. He had never gone fishing with his kids or taken a moonlight stroll with Elise. He had never planted a garden or read those wonderful books his mother had loved to read. Instead, he had hurried through life, never resting to see all that was good along the way. Because he couldn't wait for what was next, he never noticed the amazing things waiting for him in the present. Peter became very sad at this discovery. He decided to go out to the forest where he used to walk as a boy to clear his head and warm his spirit. As he entered the forest, he noticed that the little saplings of his childhood had grown into mighty oaks. The The forest itself had matured into a paradise of nature. He lay down on a small patch of grass and fell into a deep slumber. After only a minute, he heard someone calling out to him. "Peter, Peter," cried the voice. He looked up, and in astonishment, he saw that none other than the old woman who had given him the ball with the magic golden thread many years earlier. "How have you enjoyed my gift?" she asked. "At first, it was fun, but now I hate it," he responded bluntly. "My whole life passed before my eyes without giving me a chance to enjoy it. Sure, there would have been sad times as well as great times, but I haven't had the chance to experience either. I feel empty inside. I have missed the gift of living." "You are very ungrateful," said the old woman. "Still, I will give you one last wish." "I'd like to go back to being a schoolboy and live my life over again," Peter quickly responded. He then returned to his deep sleep. Again, he heard someone calling his name, and he opened his eyes. Who could it be this time, he wondered. When he opened his eyes, he was absolutely delighted to see his mother standing over his bedside. She looked young, healthy, and radiant. Peter realized that the strange woman from the forest had indeed granted him his last wish, and that he had returned to his former life. "Hurry up, Peter, you sleep too much. Your dreams will make you late for school if you don't get up right this minute," her mother admonished. Needless to say, Peter dashed out of bed and began to live the way he had hoped. He went on to live a full life, one rich of many delights, joys, and triumphs. But it all started when he stopped sacrificing the present for the future and began to live in the moment. So don't forget that in all of these exciting times that we have now, or in 6 months when you're starting to think about summer vacation, or in a couple of years when you get to go to a new school, or whatever it might be, don't forget to also notice the things that are good right now, because those are the things that will let you enjoy your life. Okay, you guys? I have birthday cards. Is Olivia here today? No Olivia? Or Noah? Or Phoebe? Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to make sure that those kids get these cards in the mail, and hopefully that will be exciting for them for their birthdays. And remember, did you? I know you did, Remy, not very long ago, huh? And don't forget to come the first Sunday of the month, and I'll get you a birthday card. And we always love seeing you if it's the first Sunday or the third Sunday or whenever it is, your birthday or not. We love having you guys here, okay? With that, if we can make the love arch. Thank you.
This world can be a challenging place. We strive to find peace in our home, in our work, in our neighborhoods. We need to have the right balance for our well-being. There is great sorrow in this world. There's war, terror, starvation, unsheltered folks, no water to drink, nowhere to go. And you may feel a great burden because of the suffering you see or hear about. You may offer compassion to those who suffer, even if it's only in your thoughts, and you are grateful for the things you can share, the things that you have, those things that make us part of the world community. Now, some may have lots to give, and some only a little bit. But every piece of gratitude, no matter how small, helps another in some way. Every time you say thank you, a burden is eased. somewhere, somehow. If we can give to each other and take from each other, even just a smile, then the burdens are eased for a moment. A smile to a stranger could make a huge difference in someone's day. From you I receive. To you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Maybe you want to repeat that with me. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Margaret Gregg, one of your Lifelines ministers, and I have a double joy and a sorrow today. It is cold, and I'm sorry about that. But the joy is we're all here together and we can snuggle up for body warmth. Let's see. We have a concern from Louise. Her neighbor Bobby lost her significant other. And we have a joy today. Tracy and Steve are celebrating 25 years of being married. Congratulations, guys. As we do each Sunday, we light one more candle for those private joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our hearts. Lifeline's lay ministers are fellow members who extend the ministry to members and friends of the congregation who are experiencing loss, illness, or any type of personal or family crisis. You can reach out to us by visiting the Lifelines table in Hanneman Hall after each service on Sunday. Our badges and purple stoles identify us as members of the Lifeline team. You can also contact us at the email address on the screen, and you can post your joys and sorrows in the book in the foyer before church and post them online. There's a link under the title for the next Sunday service. Next Sunday is Compassionate Connections. If you'd like some emotional support from the Lifeline's lay ministers, come to the front of the sanctuary right after the service. We'll then head together to a private spot for support. Thank you all and have a great weekend.
I'd like to read to you today something by Reverend Maureen Killeran, who has served as a UU minister in congregations from Ohio, British Columbia, Oregon, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Maryland, Texas, and Florida. And she was born in Canada. She begins her reading about the folded lie, which she wrote in May of 2017, with this quote, "All I have is a voice to undo the folded lie," by W.H. Auden. And her folded lie story goes like this. One of the fads that swept my school when I was in 4th grade was a simple type of origami we called cootie catchers, the purpose of which was to predict the future. 97% guaranteed. A series of banal choices, do you like chocolate or vanilla, 2 or 12, caused the folds of this intricate creation to shift, and tension mounted until finally the heart of the matter was revealed. You will be happy forever. Expect a big surprise. Or ominously, you will have 17 kids and die young. These days, cootie catchers have been commodified, and for a small sum, you can purchase a template that will deepen your spirituality or help you win the favor of your latest crush. Some will purportedly help you perform random acts of kindness, and one even promises to be their SAT's Harry Potter sorting hat. Now, back in the day, though the cootie catcher was simply a cheap and easy game, we knew there was no truth in it, which by definition made it a gentle but shared lie. So why was that? As we folded and chose our way through the layers, a quasi-magical power sometimes grabbed us, even though we knew better. There was that almost wish that maybe this time the game would yield a happy surprise. Except not. In this post-playground world, we've learned to our peril that the folded lies are serious, and their outcomes seldom bring happy surprises. We learn that lies have consequences. Life is not a no-fault game. What if the poet is right and our voices really are all we have? We have choices, of course, but only one path is morally acceptable, for we are the grown-ups, and life is neither a playground nor a game. The folded lies are real. With our voices, we can and will undo them. The Reverend Killer ends this reading with a short prayer. Spirit of deep hope and love, I ache to live the faith I claim to believe. I ask for courage to be fully present in these chaotic days. I ask for wisdom that my voice may be an agent of resistance, and my words add strength for those whose pain has been so long denied. In the name of all that is holy, this I pray. Amen.
Cattle guards and other painted lies. Hi, I'm Gregg, and before I begin, in the interest of honesty, I want you to know that I'm not a believer, and I don't consider myself an atheist because I worship life, the only great spirit of which I am certain. Given recent events, lies have been weighing heavily on my spirit. I don't know about you, but they've been keeping me awake at night. I dream about the threat they pose to the continued existence of our communities, our nation, and even our species, because people believe those lies. We all lie. Even if we hold values that prohibit lying, sometimes it's a lie that has no purpose. Perhaps you've just experienced a loss, and someone asks, "How are you doing?" Fine, you say? It appears that lies are a part of human nature. It would be foolish to expect a world unencumbered by dishonesty. But how are we to realistically deal with this inherent nature of humanity? Today, we live in the age of the blatant lie, where we can watch politicians and con men make outrageous claims and statements one day and deny their own words the next. Then we give them power over us anyway. It becomes increasingly difficult, but never more important, to maintain our UU values in light of the evidence that honesty is rare in our society, even among many of those who profess to follow Christ. I have heard some Christians claim that Unitarian Universalism is a godless cult. They believe this because it is what they've been told by their religious leaders. For me, belief is a lie that allows believers to prejudge people they do not know. So it's a worthless measure of truth. For me, the search for truth and meaning has been like trying to assemble a puzzle with too many pieces. You have to throw out a lot more than you keep. The chief among these, the extra pieces, are our beliefs, even and especially our belief in our own honesty. Empirical is not a weird word you hear much, but it means knowing something based on direct observation or experience, not theory, not even logic. And while God is a concept that is accepted by many Unitarian Universalists, it is not an essential element in our congregations. We are a community based on living our lives by the moral principles that we share, and which are common to many religions, as well as atheists. It is our aspiration to integrate these principles into ourselves and our community that unites us. Chief among our principles is our acceptance of one another and respect for the spiritual paths each of us chooses to pursue. We have no common belief, no common acceptable belief, no religious authority that we place above the individual conscience. And so we are held together by our trust in each other. That trust demands empirical evidence of our commitment. And if our honesty recognizes that it is human nature to lie, then we must each be mindful of our own dishonesty and ensure we do not allow it to betray our trust in one another. I recently reread John Nichols' book, The Milagro Beanfield War. In it, one of the characters, the local sheriff, was very disturbed by painted cattle guards. I'm sure most of us have seen the white lines painted across the road that traversed cattle ranches. These white lines replaced the metal beams laid across trenches that were designed to keep cattle from using the road to cross into the lands adjoining the ranch. Amazingly, the painted lines were just as effective in controlling the behavior of the cattle and far less costly than the ditches. It was the slow destruction of the town of Milagro by the actions of the rich land developer and the politicians in the far-off capital who wanted to create a destination resort for the wealthy that made the local sheriff uneasy about the cattle guards. He saw those cattle guards as a metaphor for the lies told to the townspeople that all those golf course houses would mean lots of jobs and for the people of Milagro with steady income so they could feed their families and provide for a better future for them. It made the people unwilling to fight against the destruction of their community. Of course, they were neglected to tell them that the big houses and infrastructure would be contracted to outside companies, and the increase in property taxes would make their subsistence wages inadequate. So, of course, they would have to sell their homes to the developer, who would then build more housing that they couldn't afford. For me, the Milagro Beanfield War embodies the free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and confronting power and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transformative power of love. Rereading this story got me reflecting on what level of dishonesty I can tolerate in myself. In art, dishonesty is called artistic license. Around 30 years ago, I got a seasonal job with the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, and the job was a fishery technician. That was my official title. But in reality, I was a scale plucker. My job was to stand at the beginning of a fish processing line where the salmon began their transformation from fish to fillet. My tools were a pair of tweezers and a gummed card with spaces for 50 scales, preferred scales. The preferred scale is located on the lateral line just behind the pectoral fin. You can fill a card fairly quickly when you develop an efficient movement to pluck the scale, lick the back of the scale, and place it on the appropriate spot on the card, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. Of course, it does not take long before your mouth becomes a place you would not voluntarily choose to visit. Luckily, the fishing boats did not come in every day, so we had time to explore the area around King Cove. There are only so many places around King Cove to explore, and after a season of climbing mountains and watching seagulls land in Heart Lake in gale-force winds, I decided I would bring my oil paints with me the following year. Painting wasn't always easy in King Cove because wayward breezes thought my canvas was sailcloth. And you can't paint on wet canvas. I found that out. I'm sure locals thought that one of the scale pluckers was crazier than Van Gogh as they watched him chase the canvas down the road or pluck it out of the reservoir. During that summer, I managed to use my artistic license to move mountains and even entire villages. My compositions were representations of streams and vegetations and mountains near town, but with their relationship to one another drastically changed. I moved mountains and villages often miles to use them as backdrops for landscapes quite distant from them. When I move a village a quarter of a mile, when I move a village a quarter of a mile so I can use it as a backdrop for a landscape painting, or move a mountain several miles to place it behind two co-workers crossing a field of cotton grass, most people would agree that it's an acceptable kind of dishonesty. Still, I have found that many who were familiar with the area were fooled into thinking they were accurate representations. Of course, these are the pettiest of lies. They're easily dismissed. But John Nichols' painted cattle guards got me thinking about the kind of lies I was willing to allow myself to tell. The dictionary says that a lie is conveying information with the intention to deceive. But I must question whether a standard based on intent can be valid. Isn't it the lies we tell ourselves that are the most damaging? And those are the lies about our intent that we use to excuse the lies we tell to others. because we inevitably see ourselves as more virtuous than we really are. For instance, my mother spent hours preparing a special vegetarian meal for me. "How do you like it?" she asked. Did I tell her it was overcooked and risk hurting her feelings? Certainly not. Is my intent a sufficient excuse? It's a kind of petty lie too, but telling it betrays trust in a small way. What does a man or woman tell themselves when they come home and say, or call home and say, "I'm working late tonight, honey," when they're really going to have a cup of coffee or a drink with an attractive friend from work? Perhaps they could tell the truth, but lying is much easier, avoiding confrontation. People who tell these lies believe they're innocent lies, but those beliefs are the self-lies about intent that empirical evidence shows almost always destroy relationships. They're easy to see and condemn from the outside, but inside our uncritical belief about ourselves disguise our true intentions. And then we're faced with a malicious lie. Even people who habitually lie because they believe themselves to be more virtuous than they are cannot fathom the perversity of the malicious liar, the corrupt spirit that intentionally lies to gain trust by exploiting prejudice and religious belief to gain power over others. For the malicious liar, these lies are a tool to inflame hatred and intolerance of their followers, and they use that trust and belief to incite their followers to do vicious things, things that not only benefit the liar, but does injustice to others and corrupts the spirits of those who are so misled. And when those lies are repeated again and again in the media, because it's profitable to do so, they become lies of greedy self-interest, which can even destroy democracy. From my perspective, honor and integrity do not support most lies. Certainly, I have told much worse lies in my life than the dishonesty of art. And others have agreed with my eventual resolution of the artistic license dilemma. I'm satisfied that my intention gave me an acceptable excuse for my painting, but I could be wrong. And even though I will no doubt happily continue lying with my art, it seems to me that the health of our spiritual community and our trust in each other's sincere aspiration to follow UU values depends on recognition and self-reflection on even the smallest of our lives. May we give thanks for the many spiritual paths that led us to this Unitarian Universalist congregation, where our shared values and our trust in one another do not permit the painted cattle guards of this society to deter us from traveling the road to truth and justice. Let us enter a moment of meditation and mindfulness. Close your eyes now and relax. Let's put our sorrows and anxieties on the back burner and take this moment to release the tension within our bodies. The aches and pains we feel, our griefs, our anxieties for the future, these are negative energies. There's forces that sap our true nature. Become aware of your breath as we breathe slowly in and out. In and out. This body is a vessel of earth, which is naturally positive. And this breath is the manifestation of the life that dwells within it. With each breath, feel the negative energy flowing away. This breath is the spirit of life that we share and which unites us. Breathe for a moment now in awareness and meditation, contemplation of this sacred spirit.
We are a giving and sharing people, a congregation of individuals full of love and dedication to this place we call home, to each other, and to our community. Individually, we can't do it all alone, but together we can accomplish so much. Some give of their time, and because we are a community, this building, the grounds, and those who work to keep us all together, they need our funds to help keep it going forward. Your generosity in both time and money is greatly appreciated. For this month, for December, we are going to share our plate with the Interfaith Movement for Immigrant Justice. On their website, the IMLJR's mission is to accompany and equip communities and people of faith in Oregon to advance immigrant justice through the direct accompaniment of immigrants facing detention and deportation, policy advocacy at local, state, and national levels, and purposeful organizing. Through networks of relationships, we create a more just world for immigrants, migrants, and asylum seekers by taking immediate humanitarian action and long-term collective intentional action. Hope is a powerful force, and together we can turn hope into reality for those who want a better future. Your generosity can make the difference between someone having a bed on their first night here and the tools they need to access services. Help bridge the gap as people arrive and struggle to make Oregon their new home. Now, we also have a wagon to fill that supports our local food banks to offer sources of nutritious food to help sustain those who have less in times of need. Thank you, every one of you, for giving and sharing. You are the foundation of a better world. Now, to donate, you can donate as it appears on the slide. You can donate or pledge online, or you can put something in the baskets that will come moving through, or whatever way you can find. You can donate anytime off the website. We are happy that you're here and that you care enough to be a part of this community.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago, Christ, a homeless stranger, so the Gospels say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place sufficed. Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ, once more child and mother, weave their magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words could never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are opened, love is born again.
Thank you so very much. One of my favorite songs. Next Sunday, Reverend Monica Jacobson-Tennyson will be here talking about transitional ministry and Advent meditation. We are also planning to have a covenant ritual with her to seal our relationship with her and her relationship with me during this time of during this time of transition. So I hope you'll all be here. And as for news of the community, I want to tell you that today is the last day to order Christmas wreaths from Mujeres Luchares Proganistas. You can order and pay by cash or check in the fellowship hall during coffee hour, and they'll be delivered here next Sunday on December 8th. The Partner Church Romania meeting that was scheduled for today has been canceled, and the next meeting, everybody will get in touch with those folks who are interested. And again, like I said, next Sunday we're doing a special covenant, and there will be a light brunch and possibly cake to welcome our new covenant with Monica Jacobson Tennyson. And because of that, Compassionate Connections will be in 2 weeks so that all can join in the celebration of the covenant we are forging with the Reverend. So you can remember to find out what all the news are that might be happening in our community by getting the Friday email and the monthly newsletters. And if you haven't already, there are many ways that you can sign up to get them. They're all displayed here on the slide. And the easiest way is to either email or call the office, and they'll get you on the mailing list. So if you haven't done that already, it might be something you take into consideration. We're going to light our social justice candle. The flame from our congregational chalice will light the social justice lantern to symbolize that we are a truth-seeking, justice-seeking community. And we keep that flame burning always, even as we seek those truths. And as we release the flames of our chalices, we can take comfort in knowing that the light will burn brighter in our search for truth, it will burn longer in our quest for justice, and its warmth will sustain us in our community, even as we are far apart. May the flames remain with us in our hearts and minds as we hold close to our hearts the community of love we share, the dedication we have for each other, and may we rest knowing this place is here for all of us until we can be together again. Blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing song, number 347 in your gray hymnal.
This hour, rise in this light.
if you could please join hands or place a hand on a shoulder to allow these words to join us and flow through us. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come. Blessed be.
Thank you.